What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on FanDuel for Wednesday, February 24th. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to the sim results as we get closer to lock. I'll have updates today because I'm on live before lock tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, so check out my Twitter feed somewhere in that neighborhood before I go live. And finally, let me know in the comments section who are your favorite options on FanDuel for tonight's slate. We're rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Jason Tatum, DeJounte Murray, Jimmy Butler, LeBron James, and Jarrett Allen on the outside looking in. Who will be the favorites, the top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. First up, number 5, I'm going to Jaylen Brown, small forward eligibility, 8,400. New all-star, by the way. 43.5 projected fantasy points. 51 is the goal. Sim score 29% of the time. He's in the optimal lineup a lot, guys, and that's because there's no Kemba Walker tonight. So this is Jaylen Brown's show, and it's Jason Tatum's show, and they're going to get to do it all. 36 minutes, 1.2 fantasy points per minute, 32% usage, 27 points, 6 boards, 4.5 assists, almost 2 stocks. It's a solid matchup against Atlanta, pace neutral, nothing too much to worry about here. All we're talking about now is Jaylen Brown being priced slightly lower than he should be when Kemba Walker is out of the game. And there is an immense amount of value on today's slate. It's basically the opposite of yesterday. With so much value, it's a little bit easier to pay up more for someone like Jaylen Brown, particularly at the small forward spot. So I am not worried at all about 8,400. I think it's pretty easy to try to buy fantasy points today. And if I'm doing that, I need to start looking at Jaylen Brown. Next up, number 4, we're going to SHAI GILGEOUS-ALEXANDER, shooting guard eligibility, 7,500, projected for 43. The goal is 48. He's in the optimal lineup 33% of the time. Yeah, you can see those numbers are starting to climb. 35 minutes, 1.25 fantasy points per minute, 27% usage. Basically, Thunder back at full strength outside of not having George Hill. 23.5 points, 5.5 boards, 6.5 assists, almost 2 stocks. And a matchup against San Antonio that is basically pace neutral, but we really don't know what kind of pace the San Antonio team is going to have because they are missing 2/3 of their team today for health and safety protocols. It's a very different San Antonio team. I really like Oklahoma City in this matchup. They've been playing very well, and I think a shorthanded Spurs squad, which we're obviously going to see a little bit of in the value aspect of today's slate, I think this makes for a really nice spot for SHAI. I think he's going to cook. And 7,500, way too cheap. He's a lot more expensive on DraftKings. So if you're playing on both sites, you want to load up on FanDuel. Speaking of Spurs, number 3, power forward eligibility on TREY LYLES, 4K. I have him projected for 29 fantasy points. The goal is 36. He's in the optimal lineup 34% of the time. I think he has to play big minutes because they're without, and I'm going to miss names here, but DeMar DeRozan, Keldon Johnson. God, I've only gone with 2, and I've already forgot. Rudy Gay. Who else am I missing? They're missing Derek White. They're missing so many minutes. TREY LYLES is going to have to fill in a bunch. I assume he starts, and that makes him one of the best plays of the day. I think he's actually the best play of the day on DraftKings, but we'll get to that. We'll do a contenders video for that. You can find the link. It's already up here, actually. 34 minutes, 0.85 fantasy points per minute, 13-9, just a kind of a baseline. Pace neutral-ish matchup against Oklahoma City. They gain 1, but honestly, we're talking about minutes, and we're talking about 30-plus minutes at 4K. This is a no-brainer value option. He's going to be ultra popular. You're going to be putting in probably 3, if not 4 San Antonio Spurs into your cash lineup immediately today. No way around it. TREY LYLES unlocks everything. That's why you see such big names in this list. TREY LYLES and some of his other teammates are what unlocks Jaylen Brown and LeBron James and Jimmy Butler and Jason Tatum. Got to pay down to pay up, and I don't see too many options better than TREY LYLES. But one of those better options is also on his team. Point guard eligible Patty Mills, 3,800, projected for 28. The goal is 35, and he's in the optimal lineup 35% of the time. Now, Mills is somebody that actually does take a pretty big boost here. I think his usage rate is going to go up. I think his assist rate is going to go up quite a bit. And because they're missing a little bit more on the guard side, I think his minutes are as safe as they come. So I've got him in for 30. It would not shock me at all if that became 32, 34, 36, if this is competitive. They're going to need Patty Mills out there. 15 points, 5.5 assists, not much else coming in, but another good matchup against Oklahoma City. And really, when a push comes to shove, he's going to be like a 0.9 fantasy point per minute guy with a minimum of 30 minutes at a $3,800 salary. That's $300 above the minimum. You cannot avoid him. Both Patty Mills and Trey Lyles are immediate spots into your cash lineup, and they should make up large majorities of your GPP exposure. Now, before we get to number one last reminder, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, but really, hit that like button. And then go follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. You won't make a better decision today. Where else can you get my sim updates? The answer? Nowhere. Unless you hack me or come hang out with me in my office. It's a good time. We got a nice thing going on here. But otherwise, you're not going to get them. So follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. That's the only way that you can get the updates. And finally, we're closing it out with even more value from the San Antonio Spurs. Shooting guard eligible. Now, let's be clear here. If you've noticed, shooting guard, point guard, and power forward, you can hit up a bunch of different positions with the Spurs, but we're going to Lonnie Walker, who is the flat minimum today. 3,500, projected for 26, goals 34, optimal lineup 35% of the time. I have him playing 34 minutes at 0.77 fantasy points per minute, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a stock. Same sort of matchup against Oklahoma City. I don't have much else to say here. They don't have enough guys. I believe they have 9 active bodies. A lot of them are centers. It's Drew Eubanks and potentially LaMarcus Aldridge, Jakob Poeltl, even Trey Lyles, not really much of a 3. So they are packing their minutes a little bit further to the big man side, which means that Lonnie Walker is just going to be able to play as much as he needs to. This spot looks fantastic. You're rotating through as much as you can from San Antonio. There's no real way around it. I hope this game stays on the slate and it doesn't get like oddly canceled too close to it, but whether it's Lonnie Walker, whether it's Patty Mills, whether it's Trey Lyles, you can see they're all about 34 to 35% to be in the optimal. You can move those guys around. So I don't want to just say that Lonnie Walker is the number one contender, even though he is. It could easily be Mills. It could easily be Lyles. But without question, the top contenders for today are coming from San Antonio. Alrighty, guys, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on FanDuel for Wednesday, February 24th. Go watch the process show. That's already been recorded. Go watch the strategy show. If you haven't watched it live, that airs from 10 to 11 a.m. every single day. And then finally, again, I'll be on live before lock tonight with Greg Ehrenberg, so tune into that one. We'll be back again tomorrow doing it all again. Good luck tonight, everybody. We'll talk to you again in the morning.